Go. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sam. I'm the RMO for the Museum of the Riverina. I usually work with small and volunteer museums to deliver strategic projects. Currently, I am the PM for the museum project, which is keeping me very busy. For those of you who don't know, the Museum of the Riverina is in Wagga Wagga, the place so nice they named it twice, halfway between Sydney and Melbourne, and 2 hours from our nation's fair capital. Tonight I'm here to talk to you about a project that we ran last year called Seeing the Museum. We worked with a class of, sorry, I'll slow down a bit. Here we go. Worked with a class of gifted and talented learners from the local primary school, one of our local primary schools, to curate an exhibition. The exhibition drew on science, technology, engineering, arts and maths. This project is documented on our website if you'd like to know more about the how, because I really want to focus on the why this evening. Working with kids to curate an exhibition is nothing new, but our focus was on technology over the objects, and that was really new for us. And this noticeably shifted the tone and delivery of the project compared to our standard object central approach. Our collection is inherited from the 50s and 60s pioneer museum tradition. As a result, it is heavily focused on that narrative. Starting with STEM removed the constraint of having to have an image or object. What we didn't have, we would make. The other important approach that really shaped this project was giving our junior curators full control. Even when they weren't enjoying it, even when they didn't know what they were doing, and even when they made choices we most definitely would not have made. I had to Google Forever Alone meme before I could understand this. I would never write a label that says dinosaurs are very big, they will eat you. Nor do I include fun facts, but I am so glad that Thomas and Teddy did. Relinquishing control was personally challenging to me, but there was no point in getting these kids to curate an exhibition if it was just going to be the same as one that we could have just done in-house. There were three big takeaways from the two approaches that really changed our regular way of operating and how we engage our community with the museum. The first one of these was the way that we represent and engage with our community. Not everyone has an object or is best represented by one. The inclusion of a virtual reality animation of a dreaming story about how the platypus came to be allowed us to have a really prominent inclusion of Wiradjuri culture that was controlled by the elder who shared this story with us. Not only Aunt's voice, but her agency was central to this exhibit. Previous exhibitions working with Aunt had involved compromises resulting from image availability, but not this time. The second big takeaway for us was the idea of what it means to be a museum providing a community service and how we met the needs of our audience, as not every community need is best met with a well-worded text panel. The exhibition was a means to an end, and not the end in itself. Our goal was to provide exposure to STEM tools and concepts for our community. We ran workshops, outreach, and a mix of free and paid programs across the entire period of exhibition development, not only during the exhibition. The exhibition gave us a platform, a time frame, and branding to hang these programs on, but the exhibition itself was a secondary outcome. This was a public program that included an exhibition and not the other way around. This approach feeds into the third big learning for us that we took away, and that was finding ways to make the money work really, really hard. The project started with a budget of $10,000, which, depending on where you sit in the museum landscape, is either like winning the lotto or it's chicken feed. It was just enough for us. So this was drawn from our temporary exhibition budget. Switching to a program mindset led us to find ways to leverage that $10,000. We used this money as a co-contribution towards a grant for an additional $7,500 from Inspiring Australia to purchase the tools we needed and to pay facilitators to run the programs. We then used these programs to support the Science Hub in their grant application. So in terms of impact, our original $10,000 was worth so much more. And remember, someone else's money is always better than yours. Then we collected feedback at every opportunity. We responded to feedback along the way, and we continue to use this information that we gathered for grants and for award applications. And there is nothing like getting a 500 out of 10 on your program. Integrating STEM into our program was more successful than we could have imagined. However, it was not just about running some coding workshops or playing with the 3D printer, as fun as all that was. At its heart, STEAM the Museum was about removing the fear factor around these tools for our museum audience, and in doing so, making a small contribution towards helping our regional community prepare for the future. I like to tell the story that the first 3D printer I saw was the one I bought, and that's pretty common for the groups that we had come in. It is a future that is becoming increasingly uncertain because change is coming, and change is coming on levels unprecedented and in ways we can't begin to imagine. I can't tell you what that day felt like. If our museum is to continue to be relevant to our community in this future, we need to change all of our ideas around who we are, what we do, and how we do it. STEM is not the only answer, but it is a great tool for engagement, thinking fresh, and reaching out to the people you didn't even know needed you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sam.